Well, that was an eventful day. After 11 years, the Colts for the first time have used the franchise tag on their star wide receiver, Michael Pittman Jr. Pittman had a career year this year, and I think if you're like me, you're a little disappointed that it ended this way, that it ended with a franchise tag. I think a lot of us were hoping to see, to see a long-term deal happen. But unfortunately, it didn't come to fruition just yet. There were projections, even up to the final moments, that it was going to be a 4-year, $100 million deal with $50 million guaranteed, $40 million up front. It was going to be pretty great, and it was both team friendly and Pittman friendly. Both have expressed they want this to be a long-term thing, and it didn't happen. It, for whatever reason, one of the side or the others didn't get it in time. There's still hopes that talks will continue, that they'll lock him in to at least a 2 to 4 year deal, but didn't happen yet. So where does this leave us? Well, this leaves us with Michael Pittman signing a 1-year, $21.5 million contract, which is hefty. I mean, that's wide receivers didn't used to get that kind of money. I'm happy for them, happy that they're getting it, but it does leave the Colts with still a significant amount of cap room. It leaves them with roughly $54 million left after the increase in cap space that they got this past year. So I think this definitely poises them to not take a wide receiver in the draft unless that they see something significant. I think you had a good year from Josh Downs, something to look forward to. And then you're locking in Michael Pittman, who once again will play with a different starting quarterback in Anthony Richardson. He played with him for a couple of games last year, but it wasn't the same. But now he's going to hopefully have Anthony Richardson for a whole season. And hopefully for Pittman, nothing happens, no injuries or anything, because I want him to get the bag. I want him to get the money. I was kind of disappointed that the deal didn't get done. I was also hoping that it got done so that way they could use the franchise tag on someone like Grover Stewart, Julian Blackmon, or Kenny Moore. Those are three people who, in my opinion, need to stay. Especially, I mean, you saw what happened when Grover Stewart was suspended for 6 games. They were one of the worst run defenses in the league without Grover Stewart. So he's definitely one that I want to see something happen. I want to see him get locked in. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. So now the Colts have used the franchise tag, and all remaining free agents are now unrestricted free agents, which is terrifying. I don't want that. I did not want this to happen. This is pretty much. I wanted Pittman because I like Pittman. Dude seems to have roots planted in Indy. I wanted Pittman to have a deal. I wanted him to be a Colt for a long time. I wanted him to get money, but I also would have hoped for them to use the franchise tag on someone else. I would hope that they would use it on one of the other 3, especially defensive players that they need. This also, again, means that they're not going to take a wide receiver in the draft. Likely, at least not with that first-round pick, which they're not usually prone to take offensive players first round. Anthony Richardson was an anomaly. Most of the time they don't take superstars, at least. They take offensive linemen and defensive players in the first round. So where does this leave us? This leaves us with hopefully Michael Pittman getting locked in through some time throughout the season, locked into a new deal because they can't use the tag on him again. And this leaves the Colts with $55 million in cap space to use on someone. The Seahawks just released, as of today, they just released Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs. So those are 2 big names hitting the market. What does this mean? I mean, this could mean a lot of things. So we're hopeful that something happens and that they're able to lock in a deal for the long term. But for now, it looks like they're just kind of stuck in what should be viewed to like some degree as a defeat. It should feel kind of defeating that you tried to go in with a long-term deal and you literally came out with the like base outcome. Wasn't the best case, wasn't the worst case. It was literally just the, if nothing else, this is here. I don't think that's a success. I don't think Ballard and team should come away and feel particularly happy with that. It does also mean that they didn't see something outstanding that they feel that they could get with pick 15 in the draft. So we'll see where this leaves us. But for now, it at least means that Pittman's in for another year. He's been trending upward every single year, and he's not had significant quarterback play in the first 4 years of his career. Started with Phillip Rivers, where he was like wide receiver 3, for most of that year. It was T.Y. Hilton was still wide receiver 1 for a majority of that year. But Pittman shined. He shined good. And then he had Carson Wentz. Honestly, Carson Wentz and Michael Pittman looked really good. If Carson Wentz wasn't a liability on the field, that would have been a really good matchup in my opinion. And then obviously you had Matt Ryan in year 3. That was atrocious. I think we should just try and forget about that all entirely. Just never bring it up again. That year didn't happen. And then, obviously last year he had Anthony Richardson and Gardner Minshew. So he's never had elite quarterback play in his first 4 years, and yet he's been dominant. He's been really, really good all 4 years. The dude is tough as nails. I mean, like, takes more hits than anyone I've seen as far as defense goes, and then just, like, gets up. I mean, the concussion, I truthfully believe the fact that he reported himself with concussion-like symptoms was, I mean, that was a hard hit. So definitely shocking to see. But, yeah, I mean, I think Pittman's good. I think he's a lock. I'm hoping that they get a long-term deal. I would like to see him remain a Colt for the rest of his career. Colts treat wide receiver as well. I mean, we came away from Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, T.Y. Hilton, Michael Pittman. I mean, this is dominant. And they all, like, intersect. They all kind of, like, overlapped just a little bit. And so I'd like to see Michael Pittman become the next great Mount Rushmore wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts. I think that he's well on his way. And with some elite quarterback play that we hope to see from Anthony Richardson, it very well could be something extraordinary. And so we're hoping for that for this season and hoping that they get a long-term deal. But for now, the franchise tag has been applied for the first time in 11 years since Pat McAfee, who got $2.9 million in a franchise deal because Jim Irsay did not want to see him test the open market in free agency. Again, thankful for that one as well. So that's where we're at.